Hi, have you ever heard of Mashle? Comedy battle manga about super powerful dude in a magical world. Yeah, you know of it? Looks like this. It ran in Weekly Shonen Jump from 2022 around 2023, and a lot of people seem to think that it was a pretty good manga. I don't know why. Look, I spent an entire video talking about my problems with the manga, but suffice to say, I was not excited when I heard that the Mage Next Door, Weekly Shonen Jump's newest manga, was going to be a comedy battle shonen about a super powerful mage, and it looked like this. Alarms just start firing up in my brain, but I decided to power through anyways, and I'm here to report that it was pretty good. It's definitely not Mashle at all, so let's talk about it. The Mage Next Door is the story of Osoegawa, a mage that lives in the world of the mages. The mages in this manga seem to only be able to acquire new spells a couple times in their lifetime. The manga doesn't really do that much of a good job explaining how this works, but from what I can tell, it seems that you got to train your magic, and then once your body's ready, you kind of like start glowing, and then you get to pick whatever spell you want. Something that actually happens to Osagawa at the beginning of the manga. It is mentioned that most of the mages are able to get new spells around once or twice in their entire lifetime, but that isn't the case at all with Osoegawa, as it's clear that he has a lot of spells under his belt. I think because most of them only get one or two spells in their lifetime, it seems that they actually tend to pick spells that are more suited to battle, probably just in case they have to fight another mage. However, Osoegawa differs again, as the giant portfolio of his mainly consists of spells that make his life easier because he is very lazy. From very versatile things like a floating spell to extremely specific things like a magic spell that prevents eggshells from mixing with the egg, his golden life seems to gather enough spells to basically not have to do anything in their life and just be able to chill out and read manga. Noble goal. However, his plans are ruined once the divine Magus, both the apparent ruler of this world and the mother figure of our main character since his parents died, gives him a new task: to travel back to the human world which he once came from and stop evil mages from wreaking havoc there. According to Word, the reason to pick him over someone that is more suited to battle is because of the nature of his spells. They are so weird that most normal mages wouldn't be ready for them. Despite neither him, nor anyone else for that matter, wanting him on this mission, she sends him anyways. In the human world, he meets Keisuke while lying on the street, who brings him back to his mother's store, which looks remarkably like Sakamoto's wife. Surely I'm not the only one seeing it, right? It looks the same. Nonetheless, he spends a really nice day with them and actually ends up staying the night. I actually like how he's very transparent about who he is and what he's doing in this world, but obviously they just pass it off as a joke. However, the next day, they find the store completely ruined. Also, Igawa realizes that this is the handiwork of some mages have the power to teleport stuff to them, at least that's what it seems, and once he finds them, he beats them up with some pretty interesting powers, including the spell to power up water guns. The chapter ends with them returning everything to the store and saying goodbye to Keisuke and his mother, and traveling to another town. This actually leads me to believe that this manga is actually going to be more about Osoegawa traveling from place to place and helping people and saving them from mages than a story that is situated in one place with a solid cast, which I actually find interesting, but I really need to see at least how chapter 2 handles it before I'm fully convinced of its potential. Nonetheless, I think this manga differs from Mashle in one major way, one that probably doesn't seem that important in concept, but really changes everything in execution. Mashle is about a super strong dude in the world of magic users, while this is about a very strong magic user in the world of normal humans. Again, minor difference at first glance, but honestly, when you read the manga, this is far more Sakamoto Days than it is Mashle. Mashle belongs to one genre of manga about the men that are able to punch things. Meanwhile, this manga is far more concerned in delivering fights using extremely unorthodox spells, like Sakamoto kinda does with the normal items that he uses to fight. Though I think what truly makes this manga really feel like Sakamoto Days, at least this first chapter, is one, the art style, which is pretty similar to, again, the design of his mother, and 3, and kind of like the main thing is the fact that this is also situated on a store that is very similar to the Sakamoto store. So I think this manga has definitely the ability to be its own thing, as even though there are a couple of Sakamoto style manga in the magazine right now, the Mage Next Door is far less grounded in reality and therefore has a chance to amp up these fights in ways that the other manga realistically can't. And I think therein lies the chance to be successful, because I think that despite being clearly inspired by recent hits in the magazine, this manga brings a take that hasn't been seen before, and not only that, but it has one that has a lot of potential for incredibly imaginative fights. That said, this manga really is the potential manga right now, because while I think the fight did deliver on some interesting spell usages, like the lint one for example, it never really delivered on anything that's really exciting. And as the fight reached its end and also Igawa pulled a water gun and used it to finish it off, look, when we're talking about a manga whose selling point is unorthodox spell usage, powerful water just becomes really boring. Like, this cannot be your main weapon, and I think it's going to be. Like, it's water magic, it's not as cool, it's not unique or strange. When we compare this to Goron's Egg, like, sure, Goron's Egg is the least interesting of the two, but when it came to its fight, it had some really cool visuals and paneling. This one delivers on potential for something bigger, cooler, and more unique, but we need to wait and see if that potential is truly delivered. And with Jump manga, you gotta deliver fast. So let's just wait and see. But if you want to see my first thoughts on all the other Shonen Jump manga, there's a playlist to your left, and I'll be doing this for every new series that comes out, so subscribe if you find that interesting, and if you watch till here, thank you very much, and I'll see you next video.